What's up, Comfy Squad? Yeah, I'm on a Doomer time zone here. I think after this week, I'm done. Like, I'm sleeping at midnight or 1. Today's the last day. But yeah, I'm just saying this video. It's kind of brutal. It's just called "By the Way, You're Very Tall." It's this Asian guy talks to this like tall Asian girl, like, "You're very tall," and then she just comes up to him and says, "You're very small," and like on live TV, and then just yeah, she's massive. I wish I could share my screen. Nah, I don't think I can. But kind of funny. I don't know. There's so much stuff on the internet. Like even when I was supposed to be playing video games young, I was just internet browsing the majority of the time. I didn't play much. I didn't play much games other than like StarCraft or um, Command and Conquer. And that was a long time ago. I was forum browsing. I was a forum cell. Wasn't even cell. I was always into forums. And once forums died, I don't know. There's not really a personality on Reddit. On forums, there's a personality when you made a username, and in Reddit, it's kind of almost anonymous. It's just the spider thread um, way of speaking. Yeah, it's much better and it's free before smartphones like normies. Yeah, it was great when it was mostly just dudes and not like it was just dudes that were a little bit more internet kind of dudes. Um, no, I think it was everyone. I think when it was nerdy dudes, it's maybe the '90s or earlier, but thousands it was mostly just dudes, but definitely not on the normie side. It was more on the other not too normie side, but there were still normies. But once like all the normies started piling in, and it was normal to be on the internet, like everyone. Like the thing is, once girls invaded the internet, I think that's when it was just yeah, politically correctness and all that was just crazy. But before that, on forum, it was the Wild West. It was really nice, and I think you said you were on the misc. Like it was really nice. Those times are not going to come back. But then Zoomers act like the internet is here, their thing, when they don't even remember the dial-up. No, internet's not their thing. Zoomers, the phone is their thing. To be honest, like the phone, when they grow up, they're gonna tell the generation Alpha, like, oh, when the phone, we were in the boom of the phone. Maybe I mean I don't know. I'm just trying to cling them to something, but for them it was the phone. But at least for me and people a little older than me, it was the forums, it was the internet, it was the beginning of YouTube, where where people on YouTube weren't trying to sell something, they weren't trying to um they weren't trying to what do you say, like there wasn't an influencer culture. I mean, there wasn't. It was just people making skits, trying to be funny. Um, no scam. The scam culture wasn't. It was just yeah. It was really nice. Older Zoomers are already mid 20s. Yeah, I mean, older Zoomers are like 23, 25. Yeah, I think there's a big divide when if they had a smartphone in the elementary school. I don't know if I can really relate with them. Um, so yeah, I'd say like 24. Yeah, I agree. Like 24, 25. Yeah, time's flying. Yeah, that's why I say like if you meet a girl that you think you can be down for and you can think as a life partner, I mean, I wouldn't waste time. Like if I met a girl, if, you know, if I was if I was still looking and I met a girl that was like that, I'm already like hitting 30, early 30s. I mean, 5 years are gonna fly past. I would just I don't blame my friend for just visa maxing, but yeah, time, yeah. Instagram was actually used for photography and not scammers and thoughts and yeah. Yeah, Instagram. I still don't really understand Instagram too much, but I do understand it better than TikTok. The thing is, TikTok just invades your personal space. Like I can't just be on a normal home screen. Like everything is some short attention span video in front of my face. Um, I don't know. It's just too low attention span for me. I mean, most of my videos I like to make, I end up going to like 20 minutes, and it attracts guys or comments that will write longer essays because I want to talk with people that can have longer attention spans. But um, I think short attention span culture is just complete opposite of who I am. How old is your girl? Oh, and not scammers and thoughts. Oh yeah, man, I'm really thirsty. There's so much trends you have to constantly be in charge of. I don't really care for it much now, but like even now, like, I know you post about posts, but then now people are more on stories and DM, and like when dating, it's like DMs, and you have to put your stories of your day, and then the girl sees that, and then she can DM you. I mean, you have to actively be documenting your day as you're doing something fun, um, and then like if I was like a 19-year-old, I guess what this is what you're doing, right, or whatever. It's like documenting your day, and then other people can see that, and then yeah, I don't know if I can even understand a younger version if I was younger today. Like I don't want it like when I don't even want to be documenting my day. I'll post something like once a month or once every 2 3 weeks. Yeah, and even then, like I don't know. I don't think I would mind not having social media. I'm kind of phased out all of it, to be honest. I think that's what makes time fly quicker. It's like there's trends every year, and you have to keep up. And it's not just trends in social apps; it's trends in language, the ways people speak. Like I've tried to phase out most of my slang that I used to have in high school and stuff like that. But how old is your girl? Oh, my girl's 6 months older than me, so I'm 28. I'm 29, and so she's like 29 and a half. I think actually 7 months. I kind of like that because we can both remember the same kind of music growing up, um, and I can relate just reminiscing about um, stuff like that. And plus Latin music, like we both like a lot of Latin music, so that's cool too. Latin music growing up, reggaeton, all that. I try to keep up with the times, so I understand TikTok, but I just don't understand Snapchat. Oh yeah, I don't understand Snapchat, man. Like Snapchat, like to delete your message. I don't even know how people still use that. Delete your message and then you type something up. Like I was using that solely for the purpose of dating, and most of the girls that I had to use it were just bonkers, like just crazy. Um, Not crazy, but they just most of the crazy girls were like on Snap when I would get their on a dating app. It's like, what's your Snapchat? And sometimes there were bots, so I'd get bots online, and they'd say, "Add me your Snapchat," but then they'd want you to send money, so I didn't fall for that. But I never understood Snapchat. I don't know which one I don't understand more, Snapchat or TikTok, but um, But black pill is banned on TikTok. Black pill, black pill terms, any kind of like you put hashtag and you write in and says we don't allow that kind of language or something like that. Like they ban a lot of language, probably even more than YouTube. Because YouTube, I get a lot of comments, but they don't get through. Like I see it in my email, but on YouTube you don't see it. So that's part of the new game as well. Yeah, it's just like it's just like all those books predicted. It's just everything is online and everything is just you're not seeing what's really being. A lot of comments are getting filtered. A lot of the good comments I get filtered, unfortunately. Not a lot, not all of them, but and it's like YouTube likes to attack some users because some users, it's weird. Like it's not just everyone because they find one user and then they try to keep blocking him from saying new stuff again and again. And I see the same kind of two or three users on my email that the messages go to my email, but they don't go on YouTube and they write like really longer stuff. But it's like once YouTube flags you username, it will keep flagging you for like months, trying to silence you or be very strict on the language you speak. It's yeah, older internet wasn't like that at all. So a lot of these Zoomers or anyone on online these days, it's just you're only being the only stuff you're seeing on the internet is stuff that is programmed for you. And I mean, honestly, that's always been around like programming on television, but internet was a safe avenue to be outside of that alternative. But now even that's regulated and taken a hold of. So it's just that. I think men may have to go back to just meeting in person, like brotherhood. That's the reason why brotherhoods were formed. Sometimes masonry, brotherhoods, because it was something that they wanted to meet and be outside of regular ideas, and that's how religious groups or political groups out there are always formed by communities, like small like private communities that meet up. So I don't know if we're going to go towards that. I really don't know. Dang, if it's on the East Coast, you're probably like at 5:28. I guess you're just doing all nighter. I can't. I can't do all nighters. Even in high school when it was popular, people would say, "Oh, I'm doing all nighters." I can never do all nighters. One time I tried, and then I was sleeping in every class. I almost fainted like a couple times. So I always need at least like 4 hours. Oh yeah, I hate that. Well, I mean, at least it's not Monday. At least it's not Sunday, and you have to go to work. That's the worst when you can't sleep and then you have like an early meeting. I don't know if you're a wagey or whatever, but if I can't sleep like on my old job, it was Mondays and we'd have meetings at 8 a.m. Oh, it was rough. And um, I'm actually yeah 8 a.m. And before I used to actually have to drive there. Like now I work from home and all that, but before I have to drive or take the train, so I'd have to wake up. I don't know. I had to wake up at 5:50 because I would have a large commute. But sometimes I wouldn't even sleep well the night before because it was a weekend night. It was like Sunday night, and I would just go Monday just destroyed and dead. And I even said when I took this job I have now, I was like, I'm willing to take like almost a 5 to 10, maybe 7K pay cut if I can work from home. So, but I lucked out. So, but that's just me. Some people can work on little sleep, go to work with little sleep. I can't. Like I want to like I get hallucinations, or I just want to. Yeah, it's really bad. I'm needing now because I realize looks are the only thing that matters, and I never cared about materialism money. Oh, okay. My my friend's friend is a neat. When I was waging, I was looking at the subway tracks a little a little too long. Oh, dang. Wait, then how are you paying the rent? Or are you living with family? Or I mean, my best friend's friend is a neat, and he's actually very comfortable being a neat. It's very interesting. Like if you saw the video, the comfy neat channel, I mean, he's like depressed, but my friend's friend, I'd say he's my friend too, I guess, but he's very confident neat. Like he's willing to go homeless rather than work a job he doesn't like, which not many can do. But um, I don't know. I am kind of I do I wouldn't I am a little materialistic. I'm not gonna lie. I like looking at stuff and buying. Like, oh, that piano does better. So I'll buy that other piano because I can do better stuff. Or a car, I want a nice Kia. Like I got a. That's one of my everyone's got their thing. Some people are really into books. Some people like are really into sports. Like they'll be playing pickup soccer like every Friday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Um, yeah, I wanna, whether it's in California, whether it's some other state, I want a nice house, a lot of rooms, and maybe two. I don't maybe like two or three nice cars, and yeah, it's all cope at the end of the day. I mean, we're all gonna get out of here, so just everyone has their different stuff that they like. But when I hang out, I don't like to hang out with them too much because it depends on who you hang out with. Because when you hang out with some people, they do influence you. Just what they do, you'll end up doing what you're doing. And I was hanging out with my friend and his neat friend, and then his brother, who's neat slash Uber driver slash DoorDash. I don't know how to explain it. And I was like sleeping at 3 a.m. like for like 2 weeks in a row, and it was just because I'm like I actually go to have a W-2 job, so it was just it's hard to I had to leave that. I had to stop hanging out with them because I couldn't. I would go to work all tired and stuff. But yeah, those late night hangouts, man, you know those are with fast food. Those are the best. So, um, chicken McNuggets, double double, all that. When I was young, aging, money can be equalized. Some girls would rather date guys with high paying jobs. Some girls with college degree reject the guy. Some girls with college degree reject dating guy without one. Oh yeah. No, there's a huge college degree. Like you don't have the thing they say is like, oh, with feminism, oh, girls will, they'll all somehow date um, all kinds of men, which does happen every now and then. But for the most part, women date up. Like every single girl I've seen that went to law school or doc medical or something like that has dated either their equal or above. There are a few that date below, but the vast majority of them date their equal or above. Um, and it's just with college. Like girls will see a guy without a college degree like a loser, even if the guy without a college degree might be making similar money or more money than a guy with like college degree. Like there are so many broke guys with college degrees these days. It's just it was like boomer advice, I guess, to get ahead, but there's so many guys these days with just crap degree, that just minimum wage jobs with degree, especially here in the West Coast. Like degrees, not it's yeah, that's over. That's everywhere, I guess. But yeah, with my old fams, taking care of them. I'm very low maintenance. Oh, you're living with family? I'm guessing. Is that what you mean? I'm very low maintenance. Yeah, if you're neat, you have to be low maintenance. You can't be high maintenance as a neat. Um, I'm high maintenance. I mean, I went to some of the poorest place, not poorest places, but some, I guess for U.S. standards, poor places in Peru. Traveling with my friend, I accompanied them to Brazil, and living conditions are real. Like I was so grateful to be in the U.S. coming back. Just the, the the temperature, how the rooms are insulated here, AC, bugs, just places you go to, and just everything is um, completely lower quality around the world. But if you're low maintenance, you can get away with a lot. You can geomax more properly. You can neat more easily, and that's yeah, not the life for me. But it's if it's a kind of it's kind of a skill or a talent or a leverage you have if you're low maintenance. I'm a white guy geomaxing in the Philippines. Oh, album with money. How's that going? Is it God mode? I mean, are you 5'5" or 6 feet or blonde or brunette or what? I mean, I hear that I automatically think like Chad light mode or Chad mode. Especially if you're blonde. I don't blame you. I mean, white girls in the U.S., a lot of them are cuckoo mode or Anglo world or whatever. The issue I see with geomaxing is that a lot of guys. Javier, is it? It's like 4:34 Texas. Oh God, I need to visit Texas, man. I haven't. I only went to the. I forgot which place I went. The Mission District. Was the Mission? Is there? Is that a place? No, wait. Mission District. Oh, the Mission Inn? No, I forgot. But it was some Latino graduate convention, and both my buddy, both um, my buddies there. It was like we're all Latinos, and then they both. The tall guy got like the prettiest girl. The same like the 5'7" guy got like the somewhat chubby girl, and they were just in the room. I don't know what they ended up doing. Supposedly one of them got a blowjob. It was a convention, but a lot of sex happens maybe here and there at conventions. And then I ended up leaving the room. They were supposed to bring a third girl, but there wasn't a third. She's supposedly bailed out. And a funny thing was, in those they had some of those dances, and every time my 5'7" friend, he would give me the fat girl. He'd find a two set. He'd always give me the fat girl. That was funny. The issue I see with geomaxing is that a lot of guys simping hard for foreign women. Yeah, you have to be careful geomaxing. it's better if you know the culture and the language of the people there. If you're just coming out foreigner, full out, you're more susceptible to be getting hustled, or some girl just having a program with you and really driving things in the background, and you don't even know it. But if you know the culture, or you have some sort of integration. Well, that's if you're relationship maxing. If you're just like paying for it, or you're kind of just going with girls at the club, then I get it. Then if you meet the genetics requirements, then there's no probably have no issue geomaxing. But if you're like LTR maxing, long term relationship, then you have to know what you're getting into. Do you have cowboy boots and a hat? No. I mean, there's a boot barn around here. They sell boots. I think boots help a lot. I think a culture where men are allowed to wear boots, I think that's really good for short guys. Well, I guess it makes tall guys even taller. But if you're short, you can get away with even taller boots than other guys, right? So it can actually help short guys if there's boot culture. I would think so. You have to, because like for example, here in Cali, like a lot of guys are in sandals or flip flops on the beach, so that's revealing your true height. Um, so that can be rough on exposing your genetics. Comfy squad. You have to be black pilled before you geomax, or you'll get played like a fiddle. Exactly. Black pilled. I'd say red pilled. Yeah, a little bit, but you can't go naively. You're gonna get played very easily if you just go and geomax naively. You have to have a connection. You don't have to have a connection, but it's much easier if you have some sort of connect to tell you where the girls are, or what or go through a rough period of finding it out the hard way. Just hope you don't get hitched. Hopefully, you don't marry in that hard way phase. Um, as for everything, you can either do it. You can either have a connect that tells you what's up, or learn things the hard way. Um, and most people learn things the hard way. I heard some black guy got drugged by a prostitute in Colombia. Yeah, there's a lot of geomaxers that are getting robbed in Colombia. Now it's not every guy, but I'm hearing on like on forums, or oh my god, or just word of mouth. Like a lot of guys are just getting, not a lot, but there are definitely geomaxers getting robbed. America sells in Colombia, so you gotta be careful. Um, no, yeah, black can't catch a break. Just fucking laughing. Yeah, black guys. Yeah, they should just. I think for black guys, I don't know if I was gonna make a video on it, because the thing, if I was gonna make a video about swirling caused the whole TFL movement, but I think if I make that video, then I'm gonna get a whole bunch of swirler women. The swirling was like black women like leaving black men. So even like low tier black men, they're just like in the 2000s, 90s. Even if he was a low tier black guy, a black girl would rather date him than a white guy. But after like 2010, the recession or so, like black girls started leaving, had this agenda to leave black guys. And I think I was reading this like 2009, saying, "Oh shit, something's big gonna happen." They're creating this agenda, and then after like 5 years later, like all these black guys, TFLers, were creating these videos how it's about um, about blacks having it the hardest. So I don't know. I don't know if I want to make that video, because it's gonna get too much traction, and it's gonna get a bunch of black girls like trying to flag me. So I don't know. I probably might not even make it. What's the state of Latino sales in Cali? How's the competition for Latinos, etc.? It depends on the city. It's very zip code oriented. Um, in the in the places where where it's like very rich and it's like very coastal or just a bunch of rich whites live. It's typical Brad Pitt Chad market. Um, and if you're a tall Latino, I think you're kind of set almost in most places. But even in those like Chad markets, like the coastal or the rich places, yeah, it's just be Chad. But if you're in like more middle class white areas where um, the houses aren't like massively big and they're more like lower middle class homes, um, there's actually a lot of Latinos that are in the middle class integrated there, and it's not that racist against Latinos. The thing is, there's huge cities here where it's pretty much like Mexico, or pretty much like a Latin American country, to the point where Latinos just take Latinas in the hood, in the barrio, whatever you want to call it. So they're me saying all this black pill stuff. It's almost foreign to them. I mean, they still know that the pretty boys get most of the girls, but you're not going to be alone. You're going to grow up and you probably get a girlfriend in high school. You probably get your kisses in 8th grade in high school, like typical normal stuff. It's when a Latino guy is kind of low tier genetics, lower tier genetics, and is brought out the hood and is gone in, and especially as it goes to like a white suburbia or rich white suburbia. That's where Latino cells are much more easily to be created. Um, and it really depends on the area. Like I could map out Southern California and show you which areas I would go to if I was a Latino cell, but I'd have to like make a video showing a screen. So it's really location dependent, um, and genetic dependent, obviously. The competition for Latinas, like yeah. So Latinas in the barrio hood, they date mostly Latinos, and they speak a completely different language than what I'm speaking, like the slang. I think yeah, the slang. It's just completely different world. Um, and they date mostly like it helps if you're like tattoo max, thug max, druggy max, and party max Latino, obviously. Um, but when they're outside the hood or when they yeah, it's they're usually it depends. Like there's that kind of Latina, and then there's Latina that's kind of hybrid, so they're open to dating maybe Asian or black or well-adjusted Latinos or white guys, but they have a slight preference for the Latino. And then there's the full-on JBW Latina girls that are like white sorority chicks, and they they full-on want like the most whitest vanilla guy possible, that's tall and you name it. So um, there's three kinds of Latinas in here in Cali. The hybrid is not there's not too many of them, but they are around. That's usually the kind of girls I kind of dated. The ghetto like or fob Latina girls, that's the vast majority of Latinas. And then there's the other portion where it's the JBW chasers. For the most part, most Latinos have it decently well because most Latinos are in those areas. But I think as Latinos ascend economically, it will bring us to the state of what Asians faced when they were brought on the boat in the 80s, 90s, 70s, um, where they have to adjust to different market conditions. Colombia is not a safe place. Just looking at it. Yeah, Colombia. I mean, if you have family in Colombia or Venezuela or Peru, then I think yeah, you might have an in. But otherwise, yeah, you better do your research. Javier says most guys rather be ATM machine for porn. Most guys rather be ATM machine for foreign women. A guy will get on four with the knee as wave, with the knee as soon as he knows a girl can cook next traditional. That a problem I see. You know what? I actually don't think we might disagree, but think simping is fine if the girl is hasn't had ridden the cock carousel and is willing to fill her feminine role um, of the relationship. If woman simping in her feminine way, I think it's fine for a guy to simp in his masculine way. The thing is, in the West here, women are not simping in the feminine way. Um, so that's where I have a problem with. But the ATM machine relationship, that's more of like an Eastern Russian kind of relationship where you're just pretty much like an ATM machine and the girl's just, her only job is to be pretty for you. I probably, if I didn't have my girlfriend now or I was still looking, I probably could just buy a wife in Bulgaria, Estonia, Russia, like a very pretty one. Um, Not a very pretty because you're competing with millionaires there, but I could probably, if I hit 35, I'll probably be able to buy one there. But I don't think I really want the ATM kind of relationship. I want there to be like connection and be able to relate, laugh, um, work out with me. You know, I don't want a girl that eats McDonald's and just wants to watch TV all day. Yeah. But yeah, some guys do that. LA sounds like the worst place for Latino sales. No, like it depends. It if you're if you grew up, like I said, in the hood in a barrio, relationship wise, you kind of got it covered, and you got girls that are down for you. I will say the quality there is not the greatest though, because a lot of Mexican girls here get fat, especially after 24, 25. So it's 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 too vague to say whether it's good or bad. It depends on the guy. Um, but for the most part, I think it's much better than being in like Oregon or Idaho or you know, some place where there's not even any kind of representation or any kind of avenues for you. Be right back. Going to get leg lengthening and heading to the west coast to Magda Barrio and pick up Goblin. Yeah, there are. Yeah, there's a lot of Goblinas. I get jealous of guys in the barrio, man, because I be going in the barrio sometimes. Like when I was like buying, I go to when I was um doing that construction thing I was doing. I was going to Home Depot like in the barrio sometimes, and there'd be girls in the as cashiers, like 19-year-old, 20-year-old Latina, cute Latina girls as cashiers. They'd be in a Chick-fil-A, like they'd be everywhere. Um, and me growing up, like I I didn't see that. There was like mostly Asian people or white people, um, and it was mixed, but they were all kind of following kind of like maybe American white culture, but mostly like white and Asian. But I get jealous because in the barrios it's like all Hispanics, and I'm just like, damn, why didn't I grow up here? And your location where your son will grow up will matter a lot for that. The incel wave hasn't hit yet. Yeah, no, the incel wave haven't hit Latinos at all yet in the states, and I knew it was gonna hit. I knew it was gonna hit around like 2030s, probably really majorly, 2000 late 2020s. But I don't know if it'll ever hit because, especially with Biden, he's letting in if he gets more terms, you know, there's gonna be a huge Central American wave, and then with the climate crisis and hurricanes, I think it's just gonna increase. And now we got a bunch of Venezuela refugees coming. Um, when I was on the dating apps, one of them I was like video chatting, and I always get a lot of Venezuelan girls, and almost all of them were trying their hardest to get into America, and like 2/3 of them were saying like I'm on the last brink, I'm on the last stage of like getting accepted to get my visa in America. Like there's going to be I feel like after the Central American wave, there's going to be a Venezuelan wave, and I think the other Central American countries are gonna start like it's gonna be just a pouring or revolving door. So it's like Latinos will never really assimilate. Like, um, it's just gonna create more fob cities, especially in liberal states. They just let Latinos kind of live their own country in that state. So it's gonna be more divided, where it's like you're either in those barrios, in those places where it's pretty much like Mexico there, or you're outside and it's a completely different world. Um, but for like a Latino identity to create in the U.S., we have to stop the immigration and have Latinos like figure it out for some time here first. But with the constant migration door, it's it's either you're in that culture or you're not. And and yeah, it's gonna get interesting with the Biden wave. The West Coast really sounds so much better than the East Coast. I'm gonna pull a Tupac. Yeah, man. Like I always say, West Side. No, no, West Coast. I mean, there's jobs here. We get a lot of transplants, so I wouldn't be surprised. But like most people are moving what to like the South, Texas, because of the houses here. The houses here are mad expensive. If you can get your first jobs here and then move out before buying a house, that might be a good thing. But the rent here is expensive too, so you got to look at your job wage and then compare it to the living costs of the city you move to. LA prices are crazy. That's all I know, and rents are crazy too, like astronomical. Just for the wages you get here, unless you're like computer science maxing, it's software engineer maxing, then I don't. It's gonna be kind of difficult. But relationships are happening here and there, I guess. Have you ever seen most guys at Passport don't understand the girls act traditional because of culture? The guy goes ultra simp mode, they will allow someone to take advantage of them. Yeah. Well, the thing about there is, yeah, the woman acts submissive, but the guy also has to check her too. That's what people in America forget. They forget that the guys in those cultures, in very traditional cultures, are the guys who have loyal women, and especially top higher quality, I guess, looks women. They're constantly checking her, and even if it takes like a slap or I don't know, like a beating or like that, but like a light mode of that, like they're constantly checking her, even checking. I don't mean checking her phone, but they do that too. But I mean like mentally checking her, and that's part of the equation that you have to act. But in this culture, you're cucked to act like that. You're cucked to act macho. Um, so if they go there and they don't do that, then they're gonna get easily. Um, the woman's easily gonna manipulate him. They will just Larry Santana. They'll just find better chats. Heavier things. What are you referring to? I forgot what you were referring to. Javier saying he put in safeguards in place so you don't get cuffed. Yeah, exactly. Larry Santana, Hispanic incel wave is increasing. Yeah, I think I think if you look at the his fertility rates, I think I'm gonna make a video about this. But there's a fertility rate study, and for the white and Asian, they've been having decent fertility rates since they've been having like stagnant kind of fertility rates since like the 90s. Asians being, especially in the early 20s, mid 20s, Asian was like the highest. Asian girls were like 31, 32. But that's because Asian girls go to school more than white girls. The thing that saved Latinos up until like 2010 was that a lot of Latina girls were not trying to go to college and study. So college is where they get released and they start freedom maxing. Girls start freedom maxing. Um, Once they go to college in any race, in a way, it's kind of over. It's Chad. It's just Chad Central, or And yeah, Javier, your last comment, a lot of teen pregnancy. That was the thing. That was the thing that saved most Latino males because a lot of girls would just give it into their high school sweetheart, or a lot of girls just weren't trying to. They find high school as the end of life. That's the thing. That was the Latino mentality up until like the late 2000s, early 2010s. High school was just like the end of life. That was it. That was where you got your partying out. You got it out of your system. But now Latinas are getting more feminized or feminist maxing in the states, especially with the whole Latinx. Like their brain wave is on a completely different reality than older millennials, especially Gen X. Gen X was probably the last like wave where a lot of them were just hitching up after high school, and um, but now a lot of them much more are going to college, and the Latinos, like a lot of them stopped gang banging heavily and stopped criminal maxing as much. Criminal maxing goes along with teen pregnancies and women losing their virginity, getting pregnant at young 20s. But now all that kind of young 20s getting pregnant culture is kind of dying out. That was the thing that saved a lot of Latino males. So that if that phases out as a whole, then um, that's the kind of the dynamic paradigm shift that happened. I saw in the fertility rates from 2010 and onward, it was going from like 2.4, 2.6. It was the only race out of blacks, whites, and Asians that was going up. But after 2010ish, it started leveling down heavily, dramatically, like going back to like the white and Asian girl rates. Not it's not that bad yet, but it's going there. Surprisingly, the black fertility rates, not surprisingly, but they were some of the worst. Um, a lot of the blacks are not reproducing with each other, and obviously they have one of the worst gender wars out there. I'm not gonna lie and say we have it the worst. Latinos were probably some of the best gender dynamics. Asian as well. The thing with Asian is that they just mate very late. They mate like early 30s, and that's been going on since the 90s, 80s, because they study more. Company squad. How do you not get cucked? All she has to do is download. How do you not get cucked? All she has to do is download Tinder in secret and realize how much power she actually has in the dating market. The granny pill is real. Yeah. Well, you have to find a girl who's just on a different brainwave than your typical Instagram sorority kind of girl. The thing is, if she's not a sorority like Stacy kind of wavelength of her brain, then she have make sure she's not like a feminist um, PhD career maxing kind of woman as well. It can't be either of those two. It has to be a simple girl that um, is not doesn't have any kind of brain where they're trying to program who you are or trying to drive the relationship. Um, Submissive, but not like healthily submissive. That's what I'd say. And no cock carousel like history. Only over 6 in looks are safe. Below that is over. Below that is over. Yeah, I mean 5 to 6 for Latino Hispanics. Well, like it depends. Like if you're barrio maxing or if you grew up with them, then you seeing like 4 foot like Guatemalans with girlfriends. But if you're like actually going out there, you're getting a degree, you're going to different colleges, you're really career maxing, then you have to venture out of that. And height and being above a 5 or 6 is yeah, 6 is pretty good. The thing about being a 5 out of 10 is you get lumped in with everyone else. Comfy squad. I'm going straight to the bar and MS-13 maxing or becoming a beach bum, depending on how it goes. Oh, when you come to Cali, um, yeah, beach bum maxing. I mean, helps sometimes. I mean, girls in Cali aren't really asking for your career that much, like in other places. I mean, Best thing you could do is just learn all kinds of drugs, and you'll appeal to a lot of girls. A lot of girls here are on drugs, so druggy max, I guess. Larry Santana, I can't take it anymore. Working in the Uvas, and that's the USA or Uvas. I don't know what that is. Javier Sainz, same logic can apply in the States. A girl can hide the tattoos and act traditional, and red pill would easily fall for the trap. Yeah, there's a lot of traps. There's a lot of traps out there. You gotta just you gotta be either highly observant or learn it the hard way. I'm highly observant, so and a lot of black pillars are highly observant. He can succeed. Extremely highly observant man. High observation IQ. Oh, I'm probably gonna hit it off in 30 minutes. Same logic can apply in this. Oh wait, a lot of teen pregnancy. Yeah, a lot of teen pregnancy. But it's dying like teen pregnancy. Like teen pregnancy maxing is gonna be gone like in I think 10 to 15 years. But then again, all the fobs are coming from other countries, so I don't know. You find some good girls with college degree that just don't say. Yeah, I'll agree with that. Like I don't want to say the same, the black pill philosophy that all girls in college are just Chad chasing. I think I might have said that. I'm sorry. I meant like there are going to be some girls that in college that are not really following the college agenda of Chad chasing or party maxing or all that stuff. And yeah, they're not going to be Stacy. You're just going to have to realize they're not going to be Stacy. But look, I mean, a lot of Stacys in college get fat or they're not even Stacy without makeup. Try to find a girl that's underrated, like a girl that maybe she's decently pretty, but maybe she just doesn't wear that much makeup, so guys don't pay attention. Or maybe she doesn't know how to dress well. Like you got to find a girl that's underrated, like a good deal in some way. Um, yeah, but yeah, they're not going to be Stacy, that's for sure, because Stacy's will get too much simps in college. And it will transform their character to becoming hard and calculated. So 6 out of 10 is good, especially if you're not like a Chad. I mean, 6 out of 10, 5 out of 10. Honestly, if they're in shape and they're like 5 out of 10 and above, and you're around that, I don't see a problem with that. Larry Santana, a lot of Latinos in 2000 came with their women. Oh yeah, I mean my cousin in the early 90s, he came like he wasn't thug maxed anyway. He was 5'10", 5'11", but he ended up just marrying a girl he went to high school with in Peru, and he ended up giving her, I guess technically visa maxing, and then just married her. His younger cousin, who grew up in American culture, had to thug max, and and yeah, he ended up paying for that, like career wise, um, criminal, like police wise, stuff like that. But it's just yeah. But coming with your woman is like the best thing you could possibly do. Um, but yeah, anyways, Mog Maxer, bro. Just find a tried wife, bro. Yeah, they're rare. They're really rare. But they are out there, but they're rare. Comfy Squad, Mog Maxing equals jail time with these laws. Not that I care anymore, since I might just criminal max at this point. But the thing about criminal maxing is it's something you grow up with. Um, it's something that happens to you in your in your, I think at most like late teens. You can't really criminal max past 20 because you're too mature to follow that kind of culture, or thug max or whatever. You're too grown up to see all the BS that they're doing. That's why when people say just Doug Max, bro. Like, no, you can't Doug Max. Doug Max is something that you grew up with, whether it's like high crime, people getting testing you, walking to school, pushing you into fights. Like that's not something you do as a 90-day transformation. That's something that's in your head for kind of life almost. Barrio maxing is cope. I tried that and almost got deported. I work on los campos de uvas. Not good English. Oh wow. Migrant cell? Yes, I crossed illegal 2 years ago. You're a true cell? And how's that like? 5'3". Dang. That's different though. That's like a whole new. I mean, I'm not saying there aren't 5'3" guys I've seen with girlfriends. There were Royd Max though, but most of the guys in the barrio I see are like 5'5", like my height at minimum. Mexicans are a little taller than me, like 5'7". But dang, probably Guatemala, Salvador, or what? Oh, with me rope. Dang, Mexico. Brutal. Here in NYC, many illegals end up homeless, drunk by the subways. Brutal. Wow. I actually saw a legal cell sleeping on the next to the Bank of America ATM. He's, I thought it was just like a homeless. Because most homeless are like black or white. They're just smelly, but he was just like a Home Depot cell. And just sleeping on the concrete. And it just should look rough. There's Santana. I don't understand why they think Latinos are traditional when STDs are big in Latinos. Well, I mean, compared to white girls, like white sorority girls, they are a little more traditional. But like for the most part, it is over for most of the girls. But you have to honestly, the thing is with Latina girls that I've dated versus the white girls I dated, at least the Latina girls, there was this, they're more, how do I say it? They weren't masculine, they weren't like trying to ball bust you like Western girls are. And that's the main difference. It's like the mean ratio, the mean to looks ratio. White girls or Americanized girls have a high mean to looks ratio. There would be like, have a bad masculine mindset, masculine personality when, or like they think they're a queen. I think it's a queen to looks ratio when really their looks are like a Becky. And Latinas, their ratio is just much lower than Australian, white American, or even English girls. I'm not going to say that black doesn't apply to them, but as growing up with both, they're the better, they're the, how do you say, like the less dirty of the dirty towels. One of them used to go to church and got sober. His friend died and he started drinking again and froze to death. He was a really good dude. Dang. Yeah. It's always been better to move out, but cities in Mexico are competitive like here. Oh yeah, the cities are always going to be competitive, hyper competitive, and they're very hoey and trashy. Like I was in Lima, in Peru, and they were no different from American girls. They all travel. A lot of them have like daddy's money because they were talking to me like they're traveling, and they even went to like Denver, Colorado, and they took pictures. They were almost no different from American girls, and they're very. Even my rural friend cousin, she's from like a more less out of the city in Peru, and she told me like the girls in Lima, the capital, are just are a different breed. I don't connect with them. Like they're very into their makeup and heels and traveling. And she's like a good she's Christian, but she's like a good girl. She's a good good girl and like a normal girl to talk to. So the cities and all, I think the cities, because of social media, everywhere around the world is just brutally just girl festivals, like Chad chasing festivals. But I think the worst is US, like the worst is the US, Australia, and um, just the West is like level, like the largest level in the world. But Peru is not far behind, and Latin America is not far behind, city wise, of course. I think it feels normal for brown guys. I don't know. A lot of people who are in my height have terrible relationship with their hair until they can get another man. Dang. Yeah, I plan on going back to Chiapas if I need money. Yeah, if you can just get some, I don't know, mining job or some job here where you can just stack cash, monk mode, dollar save mode for like 2 years, and then go back there and buy a house. That'd be ideal. Go to like a rural place and just not that rural, but not city, and buy something with cash here. I think that'd be good. I know. That's blue pill thinking, bro. Thinking Asian Latinos are traditional because they are not white. I wouldn't say it's inherent on their race. I would just say the culture they grew up in is less ultra crazy feminist than white. Whites are on the brinks of like the feminist wave, is all I'm saying. I am 164.3 centimeters. Can I round it to 165? Yeah. I used to say I was 5'7" on dating sites. I think I put 5'8" once, but yeah, I'm 5'5", so. Coffee squad. Just fucking laughing when Mexico is a better option in the West. Than the West, yeah. I mean, anywhere in Latin America is probably better than the West. Same BS, but it's not on level 1,000. It's always has been better to move out, but cities in Mexico are competitive like here. Not yeah, like I think I thought yeah, I believe the cities are almost no different, just based off my experience in Peru, Brazil. Comfy squad, but you're not competing with 6'3" white Chads and Tyrones. Yeah, they're really tall here too. Just the heights you're competing with. At the end of the day, not all guys in Mexico are going to be virgins. You know, there's just too many of them to not pass on. Meanwhile, here, the country can keep going if all the short cells die virgins because there are a lot of taller and taller men that can procreate enough of them to keep the society going. TikTok has made girls in a rancho simp. TikTok has made girls in a rancho simp to güeros from Sinaloa. Actually, I can see that because I was talking on an app to some girls, and they're probably from a rancho, and the fact that I am stealing a girl from their land, so I can see them easily. A white guy who's struggling in Sinaloa, get a girl from a rancho, and that's probably been going on since way back in the day. Like low tier white dudes in the richer places in Latin America end up getting saved by a brown girl, and happens here. I believe it, but still, however bad it is for you in the city of Mexico is nothing compared to city of America. Yeah, I agree with Comfy. Like, I wouldn't say it's nothing, because but I'd say it's like a city in Mexico or Latin America is like a 6 or 7 out of 10. Still brutally hard, but America is like 8. No, America is like 9, 20% harder. Both of them are both shit, but you know what I mean. I am illegal. The only work I can get is at campo. Oh, but the work, yeah. Yeah, I don't know your situation. If there's a way, hopefully you can stack cash in el campo. Um, and then go back, move back. But yeah, is there a feature for you here? Like I was telling my 5'4" friend, like it's gonna be hard for you here, or 5'5", like 5'5", but like ugly for it. So for you, like it's gonna be really hard. You're gonna have to roid mat, like all it. It's just it's like level like it'll be level like 1,000 for you to ascend here. It's just not gonna happen. I don't believe it unless you like socially integrate or something, which I see really hard for you to do. Unless you're just here to stack cash, then just monk mode. Comfy squad and turn the community phone. Javier, agree. It's all about culture. Larry Santana, DF is worse than LA. I keep getting my teeth like shifting. I think when I look down too much, my teeth shift like weirdly. Um, Worse than LA? I don't know. I don't know about that. I mean, I've never been to DF, but just common sense, like comparing it to American Beverly Hills, you're competing with guys like you're literally in LA. You're literally competing with actors like Leonardo DiCaprio, Brad Pitt. Like all of them are sending DMs. You're competing with athletes, um, Silicon Valley billionaires, second homes. Like you're competing. Just the competition here is world class almost. It's just that's why I just statistically I'm gonna disagree with that. I believe Mexico is going to be westernized very fast because a lot of Americans are moving to Mexico. Oh, really? Let's see, like what are the numbers for that? Larry Santana, no ciudad de Mexico is now worse than us because of gringos going there. Oh, you guys said the same thing. That is interesting. So it's like I guess there's like a shift of a lot of Americans, gringos going to Mexico, like wifed up or with a family, or just like remote job maxing, just going to Mexico and living there because of the living costs and stuff. Probably the latter, I would believe, but Comfy squad there, even in Mexico's drinking to death after their shift in Home Depot. The Europeans can and will get a better man than anyone above 5. Yeah. Geomaxing, heavier sands. Geomaxing is probably completely over once chat starts geomaxing. I think geomaxing is just it'll always be a way of it'll always be a strategy. Um, as long as the whole world doesn't get completely westernized. I don't know if that'll ever happen because westernized, like, or the riches of the U.S. is a lot of times banking off the poor, the failures of other countries, especially the dollar hegemony, the dollar dominance, and all that. So I don't know that fantasy, that weird doomsday scenario where the whole world gets westernized completely, like every city, every town. But yeah, always find a place where the girls um, culture have a subculture that overrides like mainstream Hollywood culture or something like that. Comfy squad, they already started. I've seen a 7-year-old away working all day for a goblina, so they don't fight. Oh, dang. One of my tenants here, I think they're Salvadorian. Actually, a decent looking guy. I think he's like 33. He's married to, yeah, a goblina. Uh, she's not like disgustingly like, but she's your typical, yeah. Um, yeah, I think he has 2 jobs. They just work all day. He works on the weekends too. I think they have one daughter. Oh, and the big thing happened like last 2 months ago. Um, she left the house, or I guess he kicked them out. I don't know, because they're renting to me, but he still lives there. I don't know if the girl still lives there, but they got in a fight supposedly, and I got a message from her because I talked to her about the rent, and then she says I don't live there anymore. Um, Not surprised because the guy is decent looking. I mean, he's 5'5", but with the place, he could probably Central American max with some, I don't know, slimmer old woman. I don't know, but yeah, he's working 2 jobs for her and all that. Well, the rent and all. Comfy squad. Literally, Mexico's getting nothing here. I mean, nothing, bro. LA has a large enough Latino population to fall on, but not here. Oh yeah, NYC, right? Yeah, I would tell any Mexico from NYC to just go to the Southwest, go to Arizona, go to go. I mean, not in the white areas, but New Mexico. New Mexico maxing, I think, is real. I mean, the majority of that state is like indigenous looking, right? Because a lot of indigenous people here mixed with some of the Mexican people, and just Southwest. I don't know. I'm not saying it's paradise, but at least in here, there's something viable option, even if she's kind of average or slightly chubby compared to the other towns where there's nada for them. Larry Santana, anyone below 170 should move back to home country. 170. What is that? It's like a, what am I again? 6 foot. I mean, 5 foot. Oh, okay. Wait, what is 5'5"? 10 years. 165. Oh, brutal. Oh, 165? Dang, I would tell girls online I'm 163. I was like short. I wasn't even giving them the right. Oh, no, no, wait. I thought 5 foot, 5.4. Oh, I'm 167. Yeah, 170 is a good. No, honestly, in the US, it's below 5'7". So I think you're right. 5'7" and below, it's just a lot of struggling. Javier says too many white guys geomaxing, which kind of ruined the culture. Yeah, a lot of white guys are soy these days. There's a huge abundance of soy white guys. And the thing is, the new age kind of girls like soy guys. They like guys, they want to dominate guys. They want guys that kind of listen to their plan and just follow with it. Um, so even if you're a Chad, but if you're red pilled or your dominance and all that, you're not going to be able to get. It's going to hinder you with women a little bit because girls, what girls are ultimately rewarding is like blue pilled soy boy chads. That's like the ultimate thing because girls want to dominate um, the men these days, especially girls that are in college, career maxing, and all that. Larry Santana, it's already ruined. Mexico City is the LA of Mexico. No, yeah, I believe that. I mean, to be fair, Mexico City was the only city in Latin America that gave me some love. So, not saying I got Stacy's, but I was gonna meet up with a couple Mexican girls, and like I said, they're like five. They're like I wouldn't say five. I will say they were better than I would get here. They're like 6 to 7, and I wouldn't say seven. Maybe like six out of 10, and young. That's what I really liked. They were young, but I ended up getting a relationship, and that whole plan died off. But that was going to be my only avenue of ascension. Not even in Peru I get a love, or Colombia or Venezuela. Like it was only Mexico City where I get something for Tinder. What is remote job? Remote job like you work on your laptop and you can work anywhere. Usually it's anywhere within a state, but some jobs like you can like IT, you can actually work anywhere in the world. Uh, Javier Sen's been on the news. Americans raise the cost of living in Mexico. I assume standards in those countries are going to go up over time. Yeah, it's like all the San Francisco guys, at California went to the Midwest, went to the South, or the South. No, went to the South or Texas, and then all the mid South, maybe Texas. Some of those popular places went to the middle of nowhere, rural max, and then a lot of guys from there just said F this, and they probably just going to Mexico or Latin America. Living costs, like there's just like this transfers of people with expensive living costs. Comfy Squad, you gave me a new idea. I'm gonna hit the reservation now. Oh, I got told the reservation max many times. A lot of their guys get drunk and they die before like 30, which is sad. But one's one suicide fuel is another guy's like life fuel, right? So and I've heard of reservation maxing before. And I wouldn't be surprised if it works. Larry Santana, going to another so I can work all day for a woman. No, sir, better go back home. Yeah, 2 jobs, it's rough. Comfy Squad. I'm gonna conquistador max in New Mexico. Yeah. Oh, you're castizo, so those native girls usually, honestly, native girls, I don't, honestly, they want a castizo guy. They don't want a blonde white guy. A lot of times they want a castizo guy. That's like the ideal look. Have your signs. I'm kind of picky now because if I want kids, then I want past the best genes. I refuse to date girls 5.5 and below. You mean looks or you mean height? Like 5'5" and below or 5.5 face and below? I understand the face, but looks, I mean, I thought there's some cute girls around 5'3", 5'4". Oh, both. That's good. I mean, hey, make some tall Latino babies. I mean, we need more of them in the U.S., right? Mine are gonna if I get hitched up with my girlfriend, like they're gonna be castizo 5'9" guys. So I don't know. Javier Sainz, I'm kind of picky now because I want kids. I want. Oh no, a lot of younger Zoomer Mexicans are soy toy. Oh, I hope not, but I wouldn't be surprised. It's just like a soy pandemic, soydemic. Just simp for your girl, bro. Just do whatever she tells you to do, bro. It's just no. Larry Santana, I can't be choosing a woman. I mean, at 5'3", you honestly have to just go wherever you can. There's possibly any. Well, my my friend's friend. I was eating McDonald's with the other day. He's blind and 5'4". He ascended on a Catholic website, and he ascended with a girl in England. Um, Now I will say he's very religion maxed. He loves philosophy and he plays the guitar. So and he speaks English very well, obviously. And he has a good job. So I mean, he has this. But it is one example. Um, at that height, you're just gonna have to move countries. I think it's not. You're not gonna get anything here. And I'm telling you this at 5'5". Like only 5'7" can work if you're like Zac Efron max, then you look like great face. But below that, it's just there's no shame in doing anything that works. You have to, there's no shame under that. Like, yeah, even if you have to simp. If you really want to have a girlfriend and procreate, you have to simp more than other guys, and that is what it is. I mean, just don't have her control you. I don't know. It's hard. Out like, yeah, go back to the root country and go to like the poorer places. Don't go to the cities. That's the only thing I can think of. Latinos Comfy Squad, Latino Cell, where are you from? Um, oh, you mean ethnicity? Yeah, my parents came here both from Peru, like in the 80s when the inflation was like really high over there. And there was inflation and then food costs and all that. So they came here at that time, mid 80s. So I grew up here. I went to school here, all of that. But I spoke Spanish at the house, so I spoke. I have an accent, but I can definitely understand and speak. Javier, the soy problem could be low testosterone young men these days. Well, yeah, the testosterone levels are much lower. And the thing, it's not just the lower testosterone in men; it's the higher testosterone in women these days. Like the women these days are just getting. I was thinking that college is making them more masculine, which I wouldn't be surprised if it does. And push in the government trying to pushing them to be more dominant, and the music they put out is like having more masculine kind of woman. But but I wouldn't be surprised if there's a genetic component to it too, like something in the food or I don't know. Larry Santana, I need to find any copes to survive working all day. Yeah, I don't know if you smoke weed. I know a lot of people, poor people in the hood, cope with weed. Um, I never smoked weed. I never tried it, so I don't know. But I'm just cope wise, I've seen guys cope with that. Javier signs, looks and height. Oh, yeah. Larry Santana, I'll never be rich if I'm illegal. Yeah, I mean, your friend is very lucky. Oh yeah, no. I mean, if I was blind, like I wouldn't even think I'm entitled to a girlfriend. I mean, that sounds bad, but I just if I was blind and short like him, 5'3" and 5'4" and blind, I would just be happy with I would just yeah try to. I would have given up like when in high school or something. The funny thing is, he got actually a first kiss in high school, but his whole history, he was telling me, was just him. The thing about him, every girl he met in school and stuff, he asked out. That's the, like every girl he meets, he asks out like within some time. And that was the thing me and my friend were laughing about. There's not a girl he's met who in whatever water that he hasn't asked out. And on dating apps, my best friend told me that he's probably sent like more than 2,000 messages um, on dating apps. So he eventually found one that said yes. So yeah, Comfy Squad. Your Peru showed you no love? God damn, what the fuck is going on? No, I don't know. Like even my friend said Peruvian girls like don't like me. Like when we both went for a wedding, he said they don't. I even asked out a Peruvian girl at the wedding, and she wasn't interested. Like I don't know. Even on Tinder, Peruvian girls, yeah, they don't like me. I did try a blonde guy in Peru, and he had like matches every single minute, like matches, and they were bombshells a lot of times. Like Tinder's just like Chad playground. If you're ethnic maxing on top of that, it's like level, it's like God, ultra God level, ultra God mode. But yeah, Mexico, even in here in the U.S., Peruvian girls didn't show. When I would meet a Peruvian girl, they weren't show love or anything. But there is a Mex, there is more, there is a how do I say this? Mexican girls actually showed me much more love than Peruvian girls, like a lot more. Um, like on some dates, this Mexican girls were like touching my face, my nose, like they like how big it is, like fetishizing me. So I think there are some Mexican girls who have like an indigenous fetish, and they're more of like the castiza kind of girls. So that's the most of the girls I dated were like castiza kind of girls, and that's my girlfriend now. Like there is a small market for indigenous looking guys. I don't know if I'm indigenous looking. I always think I am, but I always do 90% of girls, first of all, let's just get it clear. 90%, like 85% of girls hate me at the start. They don't want anything to do with me. But with like 10% is like castiza Mexican girls, and they simp for me. It's crazy. Like they like me. Now, I'm not saying they're Stacy's, but they love, like they like my face. I messed it up, or not messed it up, but I didn't get through farther because other reasons. But they like me. And then there's like a 5% of white girls that fetishize me as well. And when I was on dating apps, I never wrote anything longer than a sentence. So I would just be like, hey, like, want to go on a date? Sure. Like that was it. So that approach only works if a girl fetishizes you, or not fetishizes you, but really likes your archetype. So there is a small market for indigenous brown guys, and it's like the light skinned Mexican girls. They have a thing for brown guys, but it's very niche. Women, like, maybe he got a chance because he's blind. Wait, where are we? Dang it. Oh, I'm gonna get water and take a piss. I'll be back in a minute. Javier saying, I have an uncle and aunt, both of them are light skinned, but the kid came out brown. I do have more European blood in me, but don't know if my kid would be white like me. Well, it depends, yeah, who you procreate with. I mean, sometimes I was scared to date a very brown girl. Sometimes a very brown girl liked me, and she was short, and I just thought, dang, I don't know. Like, it's already rough for me. I'm just gonna create another brown native cell, and then the girl is probably gonna get knocked up at um, 18. Like my blind friend, he's 5'4", and his family's all short, and his sister's like 5'1". He came out all, incel, inkwell, whatever, and then his sister, like, got knocked up in high school. So yeah, the girls are gonna have more fun than the guys if they're really short. Javier saying, I think your height bringing you down. Mary Santana, maybe a chance because he's blind. Women love to puppy treat people who are sick. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. Like, the thing is to stand out. You have to stand out in some way. You have to be like different. If you're not archetype attractive, you have to like something. Because or else you're just gonna be bashed in with all the normal looking average guys. Comfy squad, indigenous conquistador fetish, just like Asian women. Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, you know, my mom was light skinned, and my dad's like really dark. So there are fetishes the other way around, but they're easily dwarfed by the JBW fetish. And like all my dates, I mean, not all of them, but a portion of them were just girls who really wanted a brown guy with a big nose, or a sharp nose or whatever. Fetish maxing is real. It's just much easier for white dudes to fetish max than brown guys or Asian guys or whatever. Have you ever seen my brown cousin with light-skinned parents have white-skinned Latina? My brown cousin with light-skinned parents have white-skinned Latina girlfriend. Maybe his kid would turn out tan color. Yeah, his kid's probably gonna come out like me, like tan. Yeah, that's the thing. Like a lot of brown dudes, like my brown cousin, he also got like a castiza, like light-skinned Mexican girl, and she was cute too. She was just chola, man, like chola culture, but she didn't get much tattoos for a chola, you know. But yeah, she's batshit crazy, so that didn't work out. Comfy Squad, yo Larry, let's go back to Mexico with Latino Cell. Well, I mean, I'm taken now, but if I was single like 10 months ago, I would go in a quick second. Like I would have paid the trip for you guys. I would have gone. I would have like hosted. I would have like set up. I don't know. I would have been crazy with it. Like I said, I was gonna like I was just gonna quit my job and go to Poland and Colombia at 30 or something like that. But yeah, you know, Larry, have you DNA test? You look indigenous from your nose. I mean, my sister did, and she got like 80%, 85% indigenous, 15% Spaniard. She is a little more indigenous looking than I am, but that's not saying much. It's mostly just me, like with a wider jaw. Um, my nose and cheekbones are like what makes the indigenous stand out. I wouldn't be surprised if I'm like 80%. Larry Santana, what channels are about Black Pill? Because I don't know that much. I know some of the jokes. Black Pill is kind of over all of them. Yeah, the basics of Black Pill is go watch Heat and Succeed, Oreo Man. Um, um, I don't know. Wheat Waffles is not Black Pill, but his first videos are good. Um, like his first 10 videos are probably go to Wheat Waffles, the YouTube channel, and go to like his first 10 videos, and that's really all, the first 6 videos, 5 videos, the first 10. I don't know. That's all you need. I mean, everything else is just him. You know, he's creating more content, which is good, but those are kind of the basics. And Face and LMS, but those have long 4-hour streams that I don't know, just long hours. Black Cloth kind of have your stand. I think height is better than face than in race, money, and status. Yeah, like I said in I think what was my theory, my equation? I made that video LLS. I think it's looks, location, status. Um, but I mean, and I think height is a part of status. Um, I think, well, we'll go into our discussion about that. But yeah, height is important. But I mean, I've mogged taller guys. Not mogged. How do I say this? Like a guy who was like a 5 out of 10 face, a girl that I dated, the same girl. We dated the same girl, and and then on the date, like he had to convince her for a second date, like after her kind of not replying to some of the texts or something like that. And she's this white girl or whatever. She was like she's like a 6, 5.5, I don't know. And then, but I dated her a month before him, and she wanted to. She had a slight disability with her hands and her legs, but I don't know. For some guy, a lot of guys I guess don't find that big deal that I did. But 1 month earlier, she dated me, and she wanted to continue the date after the first lunch. She wanted to go on a movie. She wanted to hike, and she got depressed when I told her that I need to go to a quinceañera. I had to make up an excuse, so I ended the date, I guess, early. But In that case, like, yeah, sure, he's 6 feet, but I have a better face than him. So I think it's very complex. But yeah, it's a huge equation. Larry Santana, my skin is cafe school. Comfy squad. Height, race, face. Height will auto disqualify you, but race can really get roadblock for some girls no matter what. I've tried looking and tried preach at them. That's the thing about height. I don't think height is like, oh, a 6 foot, a 5'10" guy is automatically much more attractive than a 5'8" guy. Like to a girl that's decently shorter, it's the same thing. I think height is more like a binary. How do you say it? Like in anyone programs, they know 0 or 1. It's more of like a either yes qualify or no qualify. That's how height is. When face, it's much more of a color spectrum where every little bit gives you something more than the last in the step before it. Where height is more of like a door shut off, shut in. Are you let in the room or not? Um, so it's kind of hard to put them in the same comparison when they're tested in the real world differently. And yeah, I've been able the tallest I've been able to date is 5'8". When you date taller girls, though, they are usually they're usually like less attractive than you are. Because she's dating you, she's thinking, "Dang, he's shorter than me, but he's much more attractive than me." So, but in my go-to has usually been like 5'3" to 5'5". Most of my dates have been in that range. I it's harder for me to get girls shorter than 5'3", 5'2", online at least, because probably they want really tall guys. Javier Sainz, I hate DVDR after he made his dad drive 700 miles for that guy. Yeah, I mean, that's how desperate you are though when you're an incel. Like you're desperate. Like I know a guy that traveled like 3 hours for some sex, and he actually did get sex from this girl from a convention. But I wouldn't say it was incel. I think guys in their younger 20s are just ultra horny, where they'll travel long ranges of distances for a girl. I never did that because I always had the mind of like a 30-year-old guy where like I'm not simping for it. I don't know. I always found it. I always was very time dependent. Like even in my messages and my dating apps, I never made it more than a sentence. I guess I was always a lazy dater. Comfy squad. Wheat Waffles is an autistic normie. He has good information that is objectively true, but his opinions and interpretations are things can be normie available. Blue pill. I've seen him in debates, and I think he's a little too much on the autism spectrum sometimes. But he is young, um, so I think he's doing decently well for his age and how self-aware he is. Um, but some of his videos are just like trying to almost create an audience to hate women a little bit. Not hate women. I don't know how to explain it. I really don't have anything towards him. I don't support him that much, but I don't hate his channel. I'm very neutral towards it. I think his basic videos are very good. After that, I think he's just trying to make content, which I respect. I mean, if you're a YouTuber, that's your full time. That's your like he's in college, so like I have a full time job. Like this is just whatever when I have a night off or day off. But he's in college, so he's probably having fun with it. So I think his first 5, 10 videos were gold though. Tyrannus, Comfy Sculptors, driving some study that proves the race bill. That's from the side the same white men are not doing well these days. One of my friends showed me DDR videos. I think the guy is gay. Someone did predict Weeb Waffle was a grifter a long time ago. I don't know how much money he's making on Fiverr and the face ratings, but it sort of blew up and it got mainstream where like that guy Jack and Stack, like a lot of guys were just asking him for a rating and paying for it. So I don't think he can rate ethnic guys that well. he automatically gives you an ethnic tax too if you get a rating for him. And it's not that simple. Like you have to be able to know how to rate Caucasoid faces, and you have to know how to rate like Mongoloid faces and then Negroid faces. Like they're different. You know, just like he'll have a black guy and he'll say, "Oh, that's a negative because you have a very wide nose. You have a wide nose." Even though sometimes the nose is just a typical African nose. Um, so yeah, I don't know. Hopefully he's just making some bucks and not getting rich off it. Tyrannus, race means very little to women. It's mainly about the face. No, I believe there's a race aspect to it, but we can talk more about that later. Tyrannus, holy fuck, it's you. Stormfront cell, just fucking laughing. Who's that Tyrannus guy? Tyrannus, bro, just look at Asian women. Use your fucking eyes. Yeah, like I don't even know where to start with the guy that says that white guys are at the bottom and that race doesn't matter. I don't know. I don't even. It's too late for that. Javier says too many gynocentric black pillar channels crying and not getting Stacy. Pussy for free. Yeah, I completely agree with you, Javier. Like there are so many guys that just are Stacy cells out there. Like I think it's well, I was a victim of this. I was doing this stuff too a little bit. Like I think it's the porn. It's the porn easily accessible porn you have these days. Especially Zoomers had Pornhub like the age of like HD porn at the age of high school or younger. I mean, when I was growing up, it was 69.com, like flash videos. Um, and it's, I don't know, Instagram's like making guys thirst even more for these kind of like very hot Stacy's. So I think guys have to be realistic. You know, if you're average, nothing's wrong with an average girlfriend. If you know, and then they follow, and then they like constantly watch TikTok videos to prove how much Chad is slaying, and then they just rewatch it and then make a channel, um, like Tails, and just constantly just obsessing over Chad and his girls and his hoes and his girls that he's slaying. I mean, it's just mathematically they're not all going to be slayers. You know, they're slayers. It doesn't make sense. If you don't do well in one market, then leave that market. I don't. I also don't understand it, and I think it's very gynocentric. Company squad turns a white true cell is fucked, but if he's above true cell status, you can get an ethnic. Yeah, I agree. I agree with that. Javier, also I don't mix out with an Asian girl because my kid would be ER. Well, ER, yeah, he was half what? Thailand, half white. Getting hype mogged by a woman sounds brutal to me. I can't date a girl taller than me. Definitely hurt my ego. I the last girl I was dating before my girlfriend, and it didn't work out. Like I was not. It was just like some months, and it was like the age of 27 too. So, um, she was taller than me, and it was not gonna lie, I kind of had a bit of a height fetish. So the long legs, like I'm a leg guy, so walking around and then with the long legs, just I don't know, that would get me. Her face wasn't that great, but um, when she dressed up a bit, and like I'd catch some guy staring at her legs, but yeah, the face like it was okay though, wasn't really that great. But I would get height mod. I would even date a girl that's like 6'3", 6'2". Like I like more legs, the better. That's just me. Tyrannus DVDR isn't even an inkwell. He's a confirmed fake cell who's mocking to the inkwell community. Most of the stories are probably fake. I wouldn't be surprised. He has a very normie kind of voice. Like he talks like some just totally over, bro. Like this is I feel like I'll lose some IQ points listening to him. So I don't really watch his stuff. But I mean, if people can relate with that, then at least they have they have something. You know, back then it was just forums, or you just kept that stuff to yourself. You took that stuff to the grave or whatever. Why are you getting mad? Calm down. Last year, this myth, plain simple. EBDR videos are very interesting. Why a man is rating face when women are the ones choosing. I think the reason why a man is rating faces is because women, there's many idiosyncrasies or many different things. Women don't really rate a man objectively. Um, they will rate a man higher if he's taller or if he's wearing earrings, or sometimes you just want a neutral rating of what you look like and what can you do to improve it. Um, and girls are just, they're too emotional driven to give a logical number. How do you understand? Don't pay for face rating. Society will judge you on your legs. I wouldn't pay for it, but I would just try to look at the basics of it. Like, do you have a good jaw? Do you have a good cheekbones? Are your eyes like, are they dominant or are they kind of round? Do you have a good forehead? Stuff like that. Tyrannus, I guess a white normie has worse than 5'2" Curry. The method JBW is based off studies from the early 2000s, as well as stats from dating apps, which don't show the whole picture. When did I say that? Tyrannus is very weird. All things equal, the ethnic is in a better position sexually and socially than a white guy is, at least these days. Wait, I need to correct my back. This is how I crack my back in my study when I'm working. Oh, yeah, that felt good. See, I can't do that in the office. Nor can I burp, fart, or any of that. Okay, I'm asleep in like 15 minutes. So. Tells guys gay too. He's too obsessed with reading other guys. I have a theory that manosphere is getting gay. No, but the curry would have overall better chance of getting a curry foy than a white guy getting a white foy. I mean, if you want your same race, then yeah, I think white guys have it the hardest. That's why white guys venture out the most, because white girls are just like difficult level. If you want your same race, yeah, it probably is easy being ethnic. But if you want to just have a girlfriend in general or ascend, then being a white guy is 10 times better than any other race. White race loyalists are gonna have the hardest time ever. Yeah, especially if they're living in like some liberal dystopia. Comfy squad Tyrannus, and if the curry fight is next to the white, you call me delicious. Tyrannus. White Western culture is not conducive to formal families. It's all about hookups. We're only high tier normie men and above one. Whereas other cultures are not type programs in the West. I agree with that. Like like my cousin in Peru. I mean, he's 5'3", I think, and his girlfriend's taller than him. Like she's like 5'5", and they're like well, they're not in the city, but they're outside the city. Like that would never happen here. And girls there aren't into hookups unless they're like club girls. Like club hookup girls are the minority in that town where they're at. Here in the West, like that's the mainstream, and good girls are the minority. So I kind of agree with what you're saying, but you still have more crossover appeal than other races. A 5 out of 10 or 4 out of 10 Latino guy is shit out of luck in the U.S. A 4 out of 10 white guy can much more easily ethnic max. And I know some white guys, the rural max. They got like some girl that lives in a poor rural place in like Tennessee or something, but I think black people don't mean Mr. Griffiths, but tall eyes. I mean, there's only so much things you can grift on in the black pill. Face ratings or But Comfy Squad, yeah, they've been around. Curry boys, you know how they talk about their men, how they love and hook up with white guys. Curry woman, you're in New York. Indian woman, you look. When I made like the Indian, would I rather be curry cell or rice cell? Like, from I do think the Indian woman do date Indian men higher rates than Asian women date Asian men or marry them. Um, Now, do they actually love their Indian men they marry, or I don't know. But statistically, Asian men have the highest outer marriage rates um, when it comes to their women. But I think the white out marriage is going to increase in after Biden and the whole soy um, takes over. Like, I think there's going to be a lot. I think back then it was just white guys out marrying, but I think white girls are out marrying at a different rate they are than in the 2000s and 2010s. Like 2020s, I think white girls are going to out marry in a much higher rate. Now, nothing crazy, but much higher rate than before. And that's mainly to do, and I'm seeing it. I know two Latinos that white girl maxed and two Asian guys that white like. This happened before, but it wasn't most. It was much. I think it was much rarer like 20 years ago than it is now. If you're a normie white guy, you have nothing, no extended family or social network. We're on our own. You have to compete in the brutal Western sexual marketplace where standards are higher. Yeah, I mean, like I said in my video, every incel struggle of every race, like that's the white plight. I mean, but you, like I said, like it depends on what rating. Are you like 5 out of 6 out of 10 or 4 out of 10? I think that's what it would depend on that. But I've seen so many low tier, just low, like short height or just ugly, or I don't know, just white guys just ascend much more than Latinos. Latinos who were like that had to like leave the go to their home root countries. But if you're a race loyalist, yeah, I mean, but okay, I'll be to be fair. Even if you go to another country, I mean, if you're not a Chad Light or higher normie, then you might get just beta bucks, or you might get ripped off for your money. Um, I can see it being really hard if you're a 4 out of 10 white dude, but I don't know. There's just too many examples of them ascending with Asian girls and brown girls, so it's really hard to see them having it harder. Comfy Squad. Do you live in rural USA or big city? Have your arranged marriage or just be white in the third world country? Comfy Squad. I live in Australia, so there's a lot of Indian Asian boys, and they are either with their own men or chasing white chads, not white normies. I can see that. Yeah, I heard about Asian people in Australia. They either with their Asian men, or they're like straight out JBW, like white Chad light chasers. Especially, oh yeah, and Indian women too. Like Indian women, like they're either with their own men in Australia, but if they're not, like they're just extreme white Chad light chasers. I heard New Zealand was rough for white guys too, and I think they get mogged by like the Pacific Islander men, which are like tan and like taller and stronger too. I don't know how true that was. Like, there's that guy. I think his name was It's Over, and he was like a short, very handsome white dude, and I think he had to end up going to like the Philippines to get a girl, and she wasn't even that good looking at the end. Oh, Orb. I think his name was Orb. You can look up on YouTube. Really good looking guy. He was on Sell that that wants to continue his Iron Seed, but Shield would rather climb around and continue the white for race loyalists. Yeah, they're fucking. I seen them. I saw this very like pure Swedish like blonde looking girl in the fair, and she was like not one tenth of any other race, and then she was just holding hands with like um, this black guy. So it's rare, but when you see it, like it just pops out, like really in your face. It's kind of funny. I do saying, if I was a Curry sell or a Middle East sell, I wouldn't bought them with arranged marriage. That's what happens when you stuck with Elliot. Yeah, not something sell. Maybe think that. It's Australian. Most fours are mud sharks these days. Yeah, yeah, mud sharks. I mean, I'm okay with them. Like, I'm slightly okay with them dating like a computer science black guy or something. But when they're just like sort of some druggy maxed black guy, yeah. Tehran is not a nationalist at all. I'm just sick and tired of being gaslit in this community by ethnic inkwells. I wouldn't say it's like talk-based gaslighting, short man. Yeah, I do think there's it's very location dependent. I just know in the U.S., if you grew up here and if your stats are nothing extraordinary, you probably would have ascended by now with an ethnic girl. And especially in Latin America, like you would ascend there easily. All right, well, dang, some of you guys are staying up. Dang, comfy, isn't it? You pretty much stayed up the whole night, didn't you? It's 8 a.m. at New York, right? Then Javier is probably like 6 a.m. Texas. Are you planning on sleeping or probably gonna knock out Sunday night? It's 4 a.m. here. I want to get at least like 6 hours, and I'll wake up at 10 a.m. Pacific time. I usually get up around 10 or 11, anyways. I should stop doing that, but I'm on like this doomer kind of time zone. And where'd that Larry guy go? I felt bad for him. It's like he was a 5'3" and a migrant cell. It's just yeah. But yeah, my whole goal of all this was like when I was really looking, I wanted to create like a community. I wanted like to get like me and like 3 other Latino cells to just like geomax together. That was my whole intent of the channel. I just wanted to like find other Latino cells in the U.S. and just like geomax together. Go to like pay. We'll each like give in our money for the trip, and then we'll get rooms and um, something like that. But but yeah, I hope. I mean, others that I can connect some that do that and document it. Like I think that'd be cool. But yeah, password bros are black, right? There should be like a Latino version of that. But yeah. All right.